First one comes from Jim. Is there a smell, image, sound that triggers nostalgia for you guys? We're coming up on the holiday season.
Ooh, nostalgia.
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, yes, but I don't know if I can think of one off the top of my
The
head.
olfactory fragrance is wild, right? You can smell something and literally transport you back to like decades prior.
Yeah.
So it's super powerful in terms of sensory. I don't know that I have one specifically, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a smelly, like smell, sound, image, just something you see that's like,
nostalgia.
I mean, takes me right back.
This one's kind of gross, but when I got really drunk on vanilla vodka when I was in college, and I can't stand the smell of it, or it'll take me back to that moment. It's like the grossest thing. I want to vomit if I smell vanilla, and kind of not vanilla anything, but definitely vanilla vodka. And I was clearly like 20 years old and drinking vanilla vodka. So
nostalgia.
Maybe I deserved that one. I don't know if I have a specific nostalgic fragrance.
For me, monkey bread. I don't know what the real baking term is, but monkey bread is where you take like those Pillsbury dough rolls and roll them in like cinnamon sugar and stuff. And then you put it in like a Bund can or something like that and bake it. And every time I see that or smell that, like that takes me back to like 5 and 6 years old, just growing up. That was what we always made around Christmas.
Well, you spurred a random memory of mine based on that. Growing up, I was the only one in my family that liked pumpkin pie. And so my mom would never make it. But then she bought me the ingredients one year, and she's like, if you want to have pumpkin pie, I'll teach you how to make it. And so then I just made these, like, put all the ingredients together. We had one of those KitchenAids, whatever. It's like maybe the only thing that I ever really learned how to cook. And I couldn't do it anymore because, I mean, I haven't done it in years. But growing up,
I had to bring it back this year.
Like the only person that would eat pumpkin pie in my house was me. So my mom would get all the ingredients. I would make my pumpkin pies. I would make 2 of them, and then I would have 2 full pumpkin pies for like a week. And I would just smother them in whipped cream and eat the shit out of some pumpkin pie.
Dude, that's great. And
so
no one else would eat them.
No one else would eat them. Yeah.
Score.
So now during the holidays, I definitely have a nostalgia with pumpkin pie. It reminds me of just like growing up and being able to have my own dessert. And that was the first thing that came to mind.
So are you going to make pumpkin pies for us here at Live Bearded then?
I think we need to bring it back.
You know
Test
what?
I think you
his
should
pumpkin
try.
pie skills.
I think that I will maybe buy one and put it in a
One
homemade
will-
dish.
I think
I
I
will show
will
up here one way or the other.
maybe buy one and claim it as my own.
Yeah.
What's
We
this
used to-
Costco dish?
You know what's on the subject of sweets? Growing up, like we just ate the shittiest stuff. I remember we used to go to the
Just as kids, like in
as
general,
kids, yeah.
yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
shitty stuff. I mean, like bad dessert food.
Yeah.
Like my mom would go to the Wonder Bread store, and I'd get like ho-hos and ding dongs and frozen
yeah.
pies, like frozen apple
moon
pie
pies.
and strawberry pie,
Honey
and,
buns.
oh my gosh! I remember my dad and I would go
Nutter
hunting,
bars.
and he would just throw like, chips
stuff.
and he would make like bologna sandwiches or like egg salad sandwiches, just like the worst stuff. But you're out in the mountains hunting for
Just need some
all
calories.
day or camping for a few days, and you just like eat chips, and then you have a frozen apple pie that's like half thawed out in the cooler, and then you open up the box of Twinkies and you have a Twink. Like I ate all of the worst shit growing up, and I loved it.
Yeah, but kids can do that with and like,
iron
they just
stomach.
bounce
Yeah,
back.
just bounce right back. Now you imagine trying to eat that shit now. I need a nap.
Yeah.
I
So-
need to get rid of it.
It's good. It's like I can handle like 4 or 5 bites. I'm like, oh man, I'm done,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
This is a totally random one. So if you guys have been listening, you know I love to travel. Like it's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Do you? I
And
haven't heard.
one of the first places, the first place I ever moved to was Costa Rica. And I stayed at a friend's guest house he had like this amazing beachfront property, and they had a guest house in the back by the beach. And there was nights where it was just so silent, but there's like white noise from like just the bugs and the water in the background. But you never heard, there was no sounds except for just kind of the white noise of nature.
No howler monkeys?
I mean, sometimes, but in general, what I remember is if I'm ever in a place where there's just no noise, but there's like a subtle white noise of nature.
Yeah.
It's like it takes me back to being in Costa Rica. It's like that nostalgia with silence and like nature's white noise, which is very interesting because I fell in love with the idea of just sitting on the back patio at night and like looking at the stars and hearing the distant sound of the ocean and just kind of like the jungly like white noise that would take place. And I didn't realize that was the case until like a few years later. I rented another place in somewhere else. I was traveling, and I was sitting outside, and it was like that white noise with like the soft, subtle sounds, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly like Costa Rica. And it just made this like nostalgic moment for me.
Did you sleep better?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm out in nature and I don't hear like anything, even like nature sounds or something like that, it freaks me out.
The quietness, the stillness.
Yeah, like
Oh, it's the
like
best.
I need some sort of bird noise happening in the background or someone yelling. It's scary to me.
I like the stillness. I think I have this love. I mean, I love camping, getting outside. Right. To me, I sleep better. It's like it's ironic because you're on this shitty little mat, and so it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. But the stillness of being out in nature and just having that like the disconnect feeling from the quietness is I'll sleep better than ever. Yeah. So I can relate to that for sure.
Nice.